Welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings. We generally like to talk a load of bollocks, tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about a very small card game. We're going to be talking about No Thanks, and in this game you will be trying to avoid taking high value cards or making sets that will give you the lowest amount of victory points that will allow you to win the game. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules. We're telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not No Thanks is worth your time or bother today and in the future. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below and all that YouTube bullshit. See you after this. Bollocks. So, No Thanks. How'd you play this game? So No Thanks is a very small card game that consists of 33 cards with numbers on them from 3 to 35. Each player is going to get 11 chips, and the first thing you're going to do, depending on the number of players, you're going to take out some of the cards from the deck, right? So on your turn you will reveal the top card of the deck, and then you will either take the card or you will place a chip next to it and say no thanks. Then the next player on their turn will have the same option. If you take a card, you'll put it in front of you, and the number on the card refers to the amount of points that it will be worth at the end of the game, right? If you have a number of cards in front of you in a sequence, say 27, 28, 29, then only the lowest numbered card in that sequence is going to count towards your points total at the end of the game. So it's in your interest to try and get different sets and sequences from the cards that you reveal, right? As well as taking the card, if there's any chips next to the card, you get to take them. So sometimes it might be wise to take a card you don't need, but it'll give you more chips to say no thanks more on subsequent turns, right? If you don't have any chips left because you've blown your load, right, then you will have to take the card. Boo-hoo. So once the deck runs out, you will total up your score, right? You'll take the lowest number of each sequence of cards. If you've got cards that are out of sequence, you'll add those to your score, and then the player with the lowest amount of points will be the winner of No Thanks. Told you it's quick, didn't I? So what do we like about No Thanks? So the first thing that we like about this game is that sometimes you'll be able to force players into taking cards they don't necessarily want, right? It all depends on the turn order, right? Because if you sit right in a turn order, if you know that somebody's burnt through a lot of their chips, you can actually bid a couple more rounds than you need to in order to make them take the shitty card that you and they don't want. So there's a nice level of bluffing and take that in this game that works really well. So the second thing that we like about this game is that there's a nice balance with the need to get as many chips as you possibly can and the need to reject all those high value cards, right? The fact that you don't really know exactly what is in the deck means that you're going to be sort of second guessing a lot of the time, but you're going to need those chips to prevent you from taking those high value cards, but you're going to have to spend them as well to again prevent you from taking those high value cards. So you're constantly battling in your brain the need to spend and accumulate, right? And that's nice. So what don't we like about No Thanks? So the first thing that we don't like about it is that sometimes cards keep coming out that you don't want, and based on what we said we do like about it, you're not going to be able to refuse them because either you've done your load on the chip front or you're holding back your chips for other cards that you might need to complete a sequence, yeah? So as such, this game is highly dependent on the draw of the card, right? And there's not really anything you can do about it. There's no real way to mitigate the randomness of the deck, and as such, some games of this might be quite frustrating for you. So the second thing we don't like about this game is that my version looks completely unappealing and uninspiring. It looks like it was made from a 1970s tablecloth that was pinched from a UK council house. I know there's been subsequent printings of this. I'm not entirely sure whether or not they've improved on the visuals or the aesthetic of the game, but people look at this and they think, that looks really boring. I ain't playing that. I'd rather oogle at those miniatures in that 200 quid Kickstarter that I've only played once. So to summarise, is No Thanks worth your time and bother today and in the future? So we're going to say yes, this is an interesting, very small card game that has a nice mix of take that, bluffing and set collection, right? It's not going to win any awards for depth or complexity, and like we said, it is heavily dependent on the draw of the cards. However, if you've only got 10 or 15 minutes to get a quick game in, or you are surrounded by complete and utter imbeciles, then this might be the perfect game for you. So there you go. That is No Thanks. Remember, if you're new here, please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below. Hit the like button and all that YouTube shit. We'll see you next time.